Hello and welcome to Spill It Podcast, where we unravel hidden truth and untold stories. You know how we do it here. Here we say it as it is. My name is Rhapsody Afos. Today we will be talking about politics, governance, accountability, and lots more. And to help us unravel this, we have a special guest in the building. He is an aspirant of the State House of Assembly, representing Lau under the NDC. Is no other person but Honorable Epeemilo Kundila Philip, aka Sir Othelo. It's nice to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Spill It Podcast.
It's a privilege to be here.
And once again, congratulations on your emergence as the candidate or the aspirant for the NDC.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's talk about politics. I think almost all the political parties in the country have concluded their primaries, and it seems almost all of the parties have one hitches or the other. What is your take on that? What does that tell you?
Yeah, it is basically because of the amendment in the Electoral Act, which came at a very short period, considering the time that political parties are supposed to conduct primaries for the emergence of their various candidates. Now, what we used to have in the country before was a process where you have delegates who votes in an election. And on amending the Electoral Act, this new Electoral Act 2026 mandated political parties to explore only two options of producing candidates, which is the either consensus options or direct primaries. But we all know that Nigeria is not ripe, not that it is not ripe, we are not yet serious. We don't have what it takes to conduct direct primaries that it will be rancor free. So all that happened was expected. I think we have explained this even on the day that the new Electoral Act was amended. When it was made public, I made observation on this particular what happened during the primaries, that the primaries was going to be chaotic because you can envision the end from the beginning. So what happened was not something that we accept if you want to be blind to it. It is something that was expected, and it happened the way it happened.
But in a country where we, as young people and the general populace, want a country that is free from corruption, but still do not want to partake in the direct primaries, what is the hope of this country?
Yeah, there is a hope. But young people, like you mentioned, young people, these things do not happen in a vacuum. Change does not come from a vacuum. Mm-hmm. Young people, first of all, have to accept that they are agents of change. Mm-hmm. And they cannot be agents of change from the outside. They have to first of all join the politics. Now, until you join the politics, you will not even understand what is the difference between the consensus candidate, direct primaries and indirect primaries, and how it is done. Yes. So you have to first of all be in the process. Change is not going to come from anywhere. The angels will not come to change this country for us. If we want a change, it is us that we have to go into the arena. And after we see what is happening there, we'll now say, okay, we need change in this place. And we will now become agents. Of course, we are already agents of change. We have to accept our role and responsibility. But if you run away from it, change is not going to come from anywhere. Nobody is going to change the system because the people that are in the system, they like it. They enjoy it. Imagine the Electoral Act mandating political parties to use only consensus or direct primaries. And those that are in the system, tell me one person that came outside the system through consensus. None. You will not get one person in the whole of Nigeria that came from the outside. That there is somebody that is contesting for Senate and a new person is coming, and now they say the consensus agree that it is the new person. Because consensus or direct primaries is only going to favor those that are in the system. Yes. So you cannot change it from the outside.
But you won't blame the youth, because we live in a country whereby you see these politicians, the kind of things or the kind of lifestyle they have been doing and how they have been governing the system. And politics generally is being seen as a dirty game. And sometimes we are being too careful not to indulge in this.
No, I don't believe so. Growing up, we were told that policemen are one of the dirtiest people. Police force is this and that. But in recent time, we have seen young people, fine ladies go into the police. Mm-hmm. You see them dress smartly and nicely. You see educated people. You see doctors. You see pharmacists. All of them joining police. Yes. It is not a picture of the police force that we used to see a sergeant with patches in his trouser and this thing that make. Yes. No. But even if politics is a dirty game, it is not going to be cleaned by you staying outside.
That's true.
You have to join the politics and also play dirty. That is the only way you can make change. Politics is not going to be cleaned. Whether we accept it or not, it is not a church program. Yes, politics is not church. So we have to accept, we have to come to terms with this. Now, like I said, you cannot make this change. You cannot bring anything new if you are from the outside.
Yes.
You first of all have to enter inside. There are places, when we have the number, we will now begin to talk reforms.
Okay.
When we have number, we will push for reforms.
Yes.
We can see in the last election when young people took different cases into their hands, we saw that the power, the influence that stakeholders used to have was not there because young people said, this is what we want. And we saw it. So if we have the number, we will make this change without problem.
Now it leads me to even two questions. You realize that most times, most of these stakeholders or these older people do not want to give power to the young ones. That's one. And secondly, I feel that the political parties have a way of doing. Now, for example, as a young person, maybe in your early 30s or your late 20s, you want to contest for House of Assembly or any of those positions, you hear the amount for nomination forms, I feel is way too exorbitant. The prices, you hear 5 million, 10 billion naira. Where do you expect a young struggling Nigeria that has the heart?
It is the same thing that we are discussing. There is nowhere in the history of mankind that power is given to anybody. Nobody is going to give young people power. They have to accept that one. Power is never given a la carte. Nobody is going to bring power on the plate, on the platter and give you. Right? So you have to accept. Now about forms and these are some of the things that of course we agree that they have become so difficult for young people to join politics because I just came out of a primaries and I was telling some friends the money that I spent. I don't have that type of money naturally. But I had to spend that money. You have to spend money, even if you are not giving people money. By the time that you do logistics, by the time that you go around, you buy fuel, you take 2 or 3 people that you have to feed on your way. You meet one old woman in a village that tells you, you just have to do this thing and it all requires money. And I understand that. But money will always come. Like I said, as at the time that I started this race, I don't have the money that I ended up spending. But like it is always said, a good product sells itself. Now, as a young person, you have to have a direction. Where are you going? You have to cultivate people's trust. You have to cultivate people's confidence in you. You have to have a message. And there are people that once they see this message, they will come up and say, we want to put a hand for you. The money that I spent did not come from my pocket. It came from pockets of people that believe, that have always believed that this guy, we believe that if you're there, something different is going to happen. We believe in your cause and they help. We might not have the money at the same par with the people we are fighting against, but then you should have a little to go around. You should have a little that will take you and to sell your message. But then, even if you sit down and say, until you gather money, when and where are you going to gather the money? So it is not going to come. So we can even go to political parties that don't have candidates and say, please give me your ticket. I can win this election for you. You go to the field, you try, you lose, you try again and again. Then one day something will happen. You don't know. It is said that wherever there is a will, there is always a way. So don't look for the way first. Have the will, and you will see the way.
Okay. You were appointed special assistant, senior special assistant or special advisor to Taraba State governor. Have you resigned your appointment before this going to the primaries?
I never accepted the appointment.
Why? I thought you wanted to contribute your quota to the system, and now you were given an appointment. And you declined.
I wanted to contribute my quota to the system, but the way I saw the appointment came, the way I saw the appointment came, the way it was distributed, the way the names came around, our names were announced around June, and people were not inaugurated until February the next year. Yes, it took like between 8 to 10 months after being appointed, and I saw this is not the type of contribution that I wanted to contribute. In any case, my name disappeared along the way. I don't know what happened. My name disappeared. By the time that names were out for portfolios were given, my name disappeared, and I was like, okay, it is even much more easier for me because I don't have to do much explanation, and I was fine with that.
Now, talking about youth in politics, Taraba State over the years is one of those states that people have always associated with backwardness. Like the steps are not, the state is not progressing too fast like the others among its contemporaries, as it's been said by many people. And one of the reasons we've blamed, like we've always said, is that young people are not involved in government. Young creative minds are not being put into government. So when the incumbent governor came, he gave a promise that he was going to make sure 80 or 90% of his cabinet are going to be the youth. And of course, he did that by giving lots of commissioners. I think in recent times, if I'm not mistaken, no governor in Taraba State has given youth such appointment in recent times. And he gave them lots of appointment. But this is already 3 years into the
3 years.
3 years as appointees and commissioners and special advisors and the rest. Will you say that these youths that are appointed as commissioners into the executive council have truly done have truly delivered? Do you think they've delivered?
Well, I want to correct that first of all. Like I've written before on Facebook, and I've told people that, of course, we've had governors. Like Nyame became a governor first at the age of 35 or thereabout. Mm-hmm. Then he became governor again at the age of 41 or so. Then Dambaba became governor at the age of 46. And all of those people, they appointed their contemporaries as at the time they were they were there as governors. But as at the time Nyame came back in 1999, the likes of Boacha, Ahmed Yusuf, all the people that served within that period, they were between age 36, 37.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could say that they were also young people. People like Joel Ikenya was Senator Joel Ikenya rather was a member House of Assembly as far back as 1992. If you extrapolate, he was just about 30 something years old. So this is not quite the first time that young people have been given the opportunity to serve in Taraba. Okay. But what happened over the years that those crop of leaders that came between since 1999, they stayed far too long in government and never introduced new young people into the system until this time. And we must give credit to the governor for appointing quite a number of young people. But that was not what we needed. And this is why I will now answer your question, that they did not deliver. Now let us leave all the euphoria, the paraphernalia, the whatever of the office. Let us forget about that one and ask for results.
Okay.
The young commissioners did not deliver. Because after 3 years, we are supposed to see this is what we are able to achieve and this is what we are able to achieve. And I don't think that the governor did his homework very well as at the time that he appointed them. Because there are some of them, like the commissioner of waste management or so, I don't think that he has worked anywhere. I don't think that he has ever minuted a file. I don't think that he has done something that has to do with office or working under anybody. And a new ministry was created and he was made a commissioner in that ministry. I think, and I'm not blaming him, I think he was set up to fail. And that is why today we cannot see anything tangible. Even waste in terms of evacuating waste has been outsourced to a different person. And we still have, though I don't believe that his ministry has anything even to do with cleaning of roads and evacuating physical waste on the field. I think that his ministry has more to do with converting waste to usable articles, right? Yes. So that people will be able to generate. But he was not. I can't see. I will not say that I can't see any result from that place. I work closely with the former commissioner of sport before the ministry was scrapped.
I think he was one of the people. He was one of the commissioners that people never liked.
Yes, and we were able to organize one marathon race under him, and I can't remember another one. So staying in the office 2-3 years without any sport activity across the state. So what else are we supposed to do? We are supposed to be having, this is a state of young people, and we saw nothing. We saw the commissioner of commerce making sack and asking farmers that they should go and buy sack. What has the Ministry of Commerce got to do with sack?
Maybe once they buy, they get littles.
There are sacks in the market. We don't need a sack. And you cannot go to Kano, then ask people from Kano to produce sack, then you bring it to Taraba and say, Tarabans must buy this sack. Who is benefiting? The company in Kano? The middleman between you? Is it the Taraba State government that is producing the sack, or it is somebody's business that you are now forcing people to buy? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any economic sense to the state, because the state is not gaining anything. If you go to the market, a normal bako sack in the market is bought at 600 naira, but Taraba sack is bought at 700 naira, and you are forcing Tarabans to buy a sack for 700 naira when there are other competitive product in the market. So that one is just an activity to show that we are doing something, but it has no economic value to Tarabans and Taraba State. Or can we now go to him and ask him, how much have we made from sales of sack? Can he come out and tell us something like that? Try sending grains, maybe 10 mudus, 20 mudus of maybe beans to your relatives in Lagos, and you will not see vehicles. You will not see haulage vehicles that will help you to transport this. But we have a Ministry of Commerce that is supposed to look at something like this and bring it up and use it as a way of helping Tarabans, as a way of doing business to get revenue for the state. But no, there's nothing. Then you go to which ministry? They are there. I don't think that
Ministry of Education is not a young person, but she's doing it.
Of course. So if you look at something like the Ministry of Education, you see Mrs. Agostina, Dr. Agostina.
Yes.
You can see what she is doing in that ministry.
Yes.
That is like her ecosystem.
Yes.
And even though I am not a supporter or a proponent of the free education thing, but you can give it to her that she is one of the people that have done relatively well in this administration. Yes. And you can see, because she is coming from this environment.
Yes.
She is coming from the background of education, and she knows one or two things, and you can see the results. Yes. They are visible. So I don't think that while we commend the governor for having that idea of giving young people opportunity to succeed, and I'm not saying this thing in any way. I'm not envious of anyone that got any appointment. I don't think that he went for the right set of youths. I don't think that the governor went for the right set of youth. Rather, I would say the governor went for the set of youth that will not oppose whatever he wants. He went for the yes sir kind of a people. He went for people that they will not oppose him at all. In fact, someone has said, one of the commissioners have actually said it, that do you think that me like this, I can tell the governor no of anything that he wants? So, and that is one of the reasons that I would say they did not succeed. So generally, I would say it did not meet expectation.
Now you are contesting for the seat of the State of House of Assembly to represent Lau in the State House of Assembly. What will you do different if you emerge as the member, different from what the incumbent member there is doing?
Now, I don't think that the incumbent member is doing something to start with. I don't think he is doing anything at all to start with.
The incumbent member representing Lau?
Yes, I don't think that he is doing anything at all to start with. Now, among these young members that we have around, you can see somebody like Nelson Len from Ngroje.
Yes.
You can see the vibrancy. You can see his effort. And I dare say that he is one of the members that I've seen done something in Taraba State that worth mentioning. Now, this is the type of energy that we will bring. We are young people. We have a whole lot of future before us. We want to change how people think. One of the areas where government, especially the government of Taraba State, have taken with too much laxity is helping young people to grow financially. And I think that we are lacking in all level of governance in Taraba State. Go around, like you just mentioned, young people cannot raise money for form. Why? Because they have remained data boys. I have a friend of mine who is a supporter of a member, and he has a small shop. I will not mention it, of course. He has a small shop. And when I met him just about 2 weeks ago, and I asked him, this person that you are following, has he given you something to add to your business to grow it? He said, no. I said, why then are you following them? What I will do differently is that we will raise young people. And I've told my constituents this, if I ever become anything at all, not just member, from each ward, every year, we will make sure that from each ward, we raise one person that is a nobody and make him a millionaire. We are going to make it a system. If we are going to be there for 4 years, we'll make sure at the end of that 4 years, we will have 40 new millionaires in my constituency. This is one of the things I am going to do differently. We have what it takes. Our agriculture is our mainstay. We will ensure that people go into farming. I'm a rice farmer. I'm a dry season rice farmer. And I know what rice farming can give someone who wants to work. So we'll get people that wants to work and we'll help them to go to farm. Our place is agrarian, right? Apart from farming, cash crops, we have livestock. We'll give people money. They'll go into livestock. I sell goods. So everybody knows me in this town, right? That I sell goods. What do I do? I go to the market. I buy goat. I come to town and I tell people I have goats. They say, how much? I tell them, they say, slaughter it and bring. I slaughter, I take it to their house. They pay me plus my services and everything. At the end of the day, I make 3,000 to 4,000 depending on the client. So we will bring young people and set them up and help them to do this thing. And we are going to raise people. We are going to make the life of young people different.
If you are the governor of Taraba State, or if you have a chance to sit with the governor of Taraba State today, what advice will you give him? I
have given one advice before, and it is on my Facebook. I think I wrote that on the 19th of November, 2023. I said, if I were to advise the governor, I will go to him and I will tell him, appoint 400 special advisors. Place them on 250,000 naira salary monthly. Don't give politicians that live in Jalingo. Give it to politicians that are from the grassroots. Those that on the day of election help the party to get votes, that fight for the vote at the polling unit. Appoint those ones. 2 per ward. Just for 1 year. After which you remove them, you appoint another 2 per ward. 250,000 monthly is over 4 million naira. If you do the calculation, per annum, these people are in the grassroots. They will farm. They will multiply that money. They will become rich. Now, the whole essence of governance is summarized into 2. Security, provide security for life and properties for the people and make them prosper, make them rich, make them wealthy. Whether you are doing education, whether it is health care that you are bringing, whether it is infrastructure that you are doing, the overall goal of all of these things is for your people to be wealthy at the end of the day. Now we have been having democracy since 1999, but people are becoming poorer. We are having more years in democracy, but Nigerians are becoming poorer because we don't prioritize making the people rich. We don't prioritize making the people wealthy. And this is one of the problems. Now, if you ask the governor of this state that, what are your achievements? He will tell you that he achieved much in infrastructure. I don't know whether he did. He will tell you that he is free education. He will tell you security. Of course, I give him that in security. He will tell you about education and other things. But he will not remember to tell you how many people he has removed from poverty. And except we start pulling people out of poverty, we are going to remain here for a very, very, very long time.
One word for data boys, young people that have dedicated themselves to be here.
Now, let me tell you something about, I was once a data boy.
Yes.
During, under DDI. And I was one of the leaders of the small group that were put together to defend the government. Yeah. And one day, we were asked to go for a meeting. The meeting was held, I think, in Patience Event Center. So we went there, and everybody was trying to show passion and enthusiasm. Everybody was like, this person is abusing the government. This person is saying this about the government. No, we are supposed to call this person's elder brother so they will talk to him. And I was just quiet. I was listening to them. After everybody finished talking, I raised my hand and I said, look, our own duty is to call people's attention to what government is doing that they are not seeing. Yes. Our duty is not to shut people up. Our duty is to call people's attention to what the government is doing. If the government is truly doing something, we are supposed to speak to people persuasively to help them see what the government is doing. That is our duty. Our duty is not to shut people up. Our duty is not to go about lying that government is doing this when we know that government is not doing that. Being paid to or being given data to protect the government does not in any way qualify you as a liar, does not in any way qualify you as someone that is supposed to embellish lies, right? So for data boys, I think every government deserves to have people that protect its image, but they should do it within the ambit of reasonability, right? This thing that you are showing people, you are not the only one that is seeing it. Yes. If work is going in the state, somebody was saying that a government official was calling him to convince him that the government is working. And I asked him, who convinced you that Alex Oti is working in Abia State? Yes. He said nobody. I said, then why do you need somebody to convince you that another governor is working elsewhere? You don't need anybody to convince you. If somebody is working, there is nothing convincing. Everything should be convincing about it. None of us in other places, but we see what is happening in Adamawa, in other places, and we are talking. And you see, personally, I've even been insulted as someone that maybe I'm ingrate. I am an ingrate because I benefit somehow from the government. And I tell people always that this tells you that I'm not being personal. This tells you that I am passionate about the state. That despite the fact that I'm a direct beneficiary of this government, I still want this government to do well. I want Kefas Abu to do well. And this is why we call on him always to say, this thing is not being done. And let me tell you the funniest part of it. We said that the government is supposed to construct roads within the metropolis. And they said we are haters. Why are we doing like this? Why are we not appreciating what the governor did in insecurity and education and blah blah? We said, yeah, we know he is doing what he's doing in those sectors, but he also needed to construct roads. Then they started constructing roads. Then we complained that they were using only block. Then they started casting, adding iron to them. By the time they started adding iron, they now say, hey, those that were saying that they were not doing the standard job, the people are haters of the state, because now they are putting iron. But we are the ones that raised the issue that these things were not being done well. Now the roads are coming up and they are going to those roads to snap it. They are now still calling us that said, we needed roads. They are now calling us that we are enemies of the state. So you wonder, we are the one that asked for it. We are the one that push for it. Today it is coming, but we are haters when we are pushing for it. We are haters when the road finally arrive. So you see, these are some of the things that as a data boy, you should be reasonable. You should defend. You should work within the ambit of reasonability.
Thank you so much. I think we'll just stop at this junction. So, dear viewers, you have been listening to my conversation with Honorable Epeemilo Philip. And we have talked about governance, accountability, and so many other things. Remember, this is Spirit Podcast, where we say it as it is. Keep following our episode. Thank you.